And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. This is a directed network, and I'm net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control, and we'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio and being all that you can be. That's what our Qso-Vlog network is all about, trying to help people achieve the best sounding station possible. Thanks for dropping by. FYI, my background is 50 years in commercial broadcasting, where a lot of big bucks are spent on audio processing equipment and getting it set up correctly to get the best sounding station possible. Well, long story short, when I became a ham radio operator, I could hear immediately a large discrepancy in on-air technical proficiency. A lot of stations were running with very poor mic equalization, very muddy, with little articulation. And as I continued to work stations, I realized most of the stations were also running very low average peak modulation, many around 30% of average peak modulation. So with my background, I felt I could help, or at least try. I knew that most modern-day ham transceivers did have enough onboard processing equipment to be able to overcome most all of the problems, so it would just be a matter of developing a generic dynamic range setup procedure and then adjusting the onboard EQ gear. And so I started the Qso-Vlog network with the phrase, "If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout." And today we're currently featuring over 3,400 Qso-Vlog Aircheck recordings. And you can access these recordings by going to YouTube and doing a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word logbook. And we also have a newer series called KC9VKV Highlights. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. These are some of our less technical and more human nature philosophical kinds of QSOs. That's KC9VKV, followed by the word highlights on a YouTube search. Both KC9VKV Logbook and KC9VKV Highlights are segments of our main YouTube homepage of Jim's Radio Story, where we celebrate a 50-year career in commercial broadcasting, a 50-year journey from a 5-watt pirate radio station as a 12-year-old to production director of a major 50,000-watt AM broadcast facility. And the thing that makes this truly a unique story is that I have all the actual masters from all along the way. Over 2,600 shows, including many full-length major music concerts and radio documentaries. You'll have to check it out and subscribe. Jim's Radio Story on a YouTube search. Our mission statement for the Qso-Vlog network is to establish a higher technical level of radio transmissions of the human voice by the intelligent utilization of available electronics in current amateur radio transceivers. Our setup, while generic in nature, converts the average 10 dB dynamic range transmitter with an average 30% of peak modulation to a much fuller 3 dB dynamic range with an average 80 to 85% of peak modulation. This substantial boost in audio transmit level is extremely beneficial in high noise levels and heavy QRM. It allows you to punch through when others fail. The second part of our transmitter setup has to do with proper mic equalization. We're looking to optimize the transmitted voice for a higher degree of intelligibility through the use of EQ patterns that bring out the articulation aspects of the human voice. Again, why need to hear the voice if you can't understand the words? Also this afternoon on the receive side, we're running 5 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring New York, Pennsylvania, Georgia, and Virginia specifically, and in addition we're running our newer number 5 Hocus Pocus Internet SDR receiver, loaded with 50 additional pre-programmed Internet SDR locations spread out over 20 states across the eastern half of the United States, trying to get the best copy from our 100-watt friends. Now the audio from these 5 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also in this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 3 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed at 0 degrees, one aimed at 90 degrees, and the number 3 is aimed at 134 degrees. These are run as a directional scanner array with a manual voting system 6-position rotary selector. Also today on the transmit side, we'll be running our no SWR, specially oriented resonant tuned dipole antenna. One leg of this resonant tuned dipole antenna runs broadside to Montreal, Canada. The other leg runs broadside to Miami, Florida. As we were constructing our station, our mantra was 20 over from Montreal to Miami with a hotspot through the Carolinas. And although conditions may vary, the general performance of this antenna supports its mission. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator. So when we switch from an internet SDR receiver to our local receiver, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube Qso-Vlog video. And as we come together for another Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network, let us pause just a moment for the amateur radio operator's prayer. Lord, we pray for clear 20 over S9 communications today. Let all our transmissions fill the air and reach their destination QSA5 to be understood by all. And as we pray for good radio conditions, let us also pray for good human conditions. During this time of pandemic that has challenged us all, we pray that you will protect everyone, especially our elderly. And also, Lord, we seek your divine intervention to bring peace to a very divided United States. As we go through a very conflicting time in America's history, with dark clouds all around, we pray that you will reduce life's daily political QRM between our brothers and sisters. And through your love and guidance, show us a way to find peace and harmony. Help us to communicate with one another 20 over S9. Thank you, Lord, and God bless and protect America. Amen. To continue, since this part of the band has many nets trying to operate in a very confined area, I would appreciate all stations checking into our Qso-Vlog net to keep their band pass to no wider than 100 to 2900. And again, please, no wider than 100 to 2900. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. And now, with all that being said, let's open it up and see who's out there. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. Papa Charlie Papa. Let's see here. I usually get you on my PASDR, but I'm temporarily out of contact with that one, so I've got my my New York SDR up this time. Roger.
Got my New York SDR up this time. Roger.
Where'd you go, Papa Charlie Papa?
Where'd you go, Papa Charlie Papa? I don't hear him.
I must have had equipment malfunctions, I guess.
I must have had equipment malfunctions, I guess.
PCP, this is KC9VKV.
There he is. This is KC9VKV.
PCP, this is KC9VKV. Got a copy?
This is KC9VKV. Got a copy?
I think we're doubling. It seems like we're doubling there. Come back and see if I got a copy on your... Hey, we have splendid luck. We've doubled now the past 3 times. Come on back, PCP.
The past 3 times. Come on back, PCP. Yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, sorry about that. I lost connection with my remote.
I'm copying you on the New York SDR. My PA SDR, I don't know where it is, but I keep having problems with that, and I'm not sure exactly what's going on, but it is. It seems like the past 3 times it's not been available. So, and matter of fact, I'm down to about 2 SDRs. I can't get into anything hardly this afternoon, Roger.
I can't get into anything hardly this afternoon, Roger. Yeah, Okay, very good. Well, it must be lots of people using it maybe or something like that. There's one of them for the long time line that works pretty good too. I'm not sure whether these times I don't know. I don't have a call time, but it seems to be pretty good. High up on the mountaintop, I think. But anyway, just heading home from work, so I thought I'd drop in and say good afternoon. KC9VKV, the tree PCP.
Roger, roger, PCP. Well, that signal's kind of buffeting in and out. I don't know whether it's from your mobile or just general conditions this afternoon, but you are kind of chopping in and out, Roger.
Good afternoon, but you are kind of chopping in and out, Roger.
Rob, I don't know if you got a copy or not. This is the Friday Afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. How are we doing up there in Canada?
This is the Friday Afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. How are we doing up there in Canada?
Well, Rob, I don't know exactly where you went or where your conditions went, but let me say 73 up that way. You have a pleasant trip on the way home. Roger, roger.
A pleasant trip on the way home. Roger, roger.
This is the Friday Afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. Well, I could just say, hey, Jim, this is Brock, KK4.
Hey, Brock, how's it going, bud?
Hey, doing pretty good. Yeah, the conditions aren't real good today, and it seems, but I can't get my Lumpkin School's SDR to come up today for some reason.
I'll tell you, I'm having trouble. I'm running about half staff today. I've got New York, and I've got Georgia, and that's about it. I can't get in anywhere myself, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's Phantom SDR LumpkinSchools.com or something like that. But anyway, I just was passing by and wanted to say, wave my hand, say hey to you. Sounding good there, buddy.
Roger, roger. Well, what you been up to, Brock?
About 5'11", if I stand up straight. Last night, the 94.7 transmitter and the repeater in Edwardsville, Indiana, got smacked by lightning, and it wiped out a little bit of stuff. And we got her back on the air last night about 6 p.m., the FM station, and then also got the 2-meter repeater back. I think we actually took a hit right on the tower, but it didn't wipe out a whole lot. It hit the downlink from the satellite, and it also hit the internet and wiped out all the coax. Man, I got some horrible pictures of burn up coax.
Wow, man, oh man. I would have thought for sure it tripped all the circuit breakers.
It did. Yeah, it popped 3 circuit breakers, and one of them was the repeater, and then the other one, it's only 2 circuit breakers, and the other one was the block heater for the generator. And I haven't looked at that yet. I hope it didn't mess up our generator.
Well, hopefully not, because, hopefully it was just been sitting on the side there, not connected to anything, and, be like brand new, Roger.
Yep. Well, that's what I did all day yesterday, played around over there in Edwardsville, and other than that, clean church today, and we try to keep the air conditioning systems going there, and having a lot of fun with the N4 TNS repeaters and HF. I got a brand new radio and a brand new microphone and a brand new antenna and a brand new amplifier.
Good Lord! How'd you do that? You must not have ran it past the major yes or no person. Oh
man. Well, that's not brand new. This is a $15 karaoke mic from the 7th Street Flea Market downtown Louisville there, and I got a FTDX 101 Delta, and but I don't have, it's not brand new, but then I got an AL80B 1,000 watt amplifier and a full wave loop about 25 feet in the air, a 40 meter full wave loop, but underneath it is a highly reflective screen. It's kind of like chicken wire, except it's a hardware cloth, if you know what that is. It's a hardware cloth reflector underneath the loop.
I roger that. What station is out there on that Edwardsville tower?
That's the 94.7, the Christian radio station, Reward Broadcasting, and then there's also iHeartRadio 93.1.
Boy, oh boy, now a couple more and you could retire on that tower. Yeah. Oh, well, that's the commercial radio stations. But I have we have the N410S Club has the 147 460 minus 2.5 meg split, which is coordinated like that. It's not 0.6, it's 2.5 meg split, and then it's also connected over there in Fairdale at 442.5 standard split. Roger. Well, it's been quite a while since I've been on 2 meters or 70 centimeters. I just mainly do this gig primarily. Roger.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah, it's a lot of fun. I think I like to listen to you, and I think it's a lot. I think it's pretty cool, actually.
Roger. Well, I got thinking about 2 meters and 70 centimeters. I have the Big Mama. I forget who makes it, but it's like about 16 feet long, and it's on a 20-foot, well, about a 15-foot pipe out of the rotor, but I've got vertical polarization on that antenna, running it vertically polarized. So I had to do something for the last 5 feet, because if you think about it, when you run that beam's 13 elements or 14 elements vertically polarized right beside the support mass, there's bound to be some detuning because of this metal in close proximity, and also similarly phase angled vertically as the other elements. So there's bound to be some detuning there. So I use a wood piece for the last 5 feet to keep any reaction down from the elements. Roger?
Oh yeah, Jim, this KK4CZ Louisville. When me and Glenn Moody were doing satellites, we used solid fiberglass rod, about 1/2 inches in diameter, and then we shellacked it or coated it somehow so it wouldn't splinter out. But that's what we used on our cross booms, I think it is. Because of that problem you're talking about, the elements or the boom or the cross beam or whatever, a piece of metal's in the way, right? It has to skew the pattern or the gain and all that. But yeah, that's what Glenn and I used to use. Roger that.
Roger. Now, right in the middle where the vertical the dipole meets in the support mass, the boom, it's almost imperative that, it's not really sensitive. Right in the middle where they come together, it's not really sensitive very much. You can use a metal boom there. But when you get out towards the tips of the elements, they become very ticklish about any metal being around there. So I used fiberglass in the past, but this time I just used a chunk of, I think a 2x2 or something like that to get up about 5 feet higher. And then I had to rope support the ends because I couldn't use the metal end supports that were designed for that antenna, so I had to use a rope coming down off the top to each end to support the ends to keep it from drooping. Roger?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, we started out with wood and coated it and all that, and it worked real well. It was just a little twisty because that was our cross boom, and it's kind of twisted around a little bit, the high winds and all that. But there's also something else to change the subject just a little bit. I know you probably want to get back to your, finding people to talk to. I'm just a regular old guy. I'm nobody special. So, but I'm using the, like I said, the AL80B, Jim. I got one radio, 2 amps, and 2 antennas. One radio, this radio, the 101 Delta, and then 2 on 40 meters. We're talking 40 meters only. And then we're talking a quarter wave phasing line coming out of the radio, 2 of them out of the radio, out of a T connector, out of the radio, 2 29-foot pieces of RG11, and then one feeds the AL80B, and the other piece of 29-foot RG11 75 ohm feeds the Kenwood TL922A. Then the one amplifier feeds the loop, and then the TL922A feeds the 40 meter vertical. And the one amplifier runs 700 watts, and the other ones run 800 watts, 1500 watts.
Roger. Well, you could use AB switch out of the radio RF out and run, 2 different lines out of that AB switch to whichever power amp you're going to run. I doubt you would be running both at once.
Well, I am. I'm running 2 amplifiers, 2 antennas, one radio, 2 amps, 2 antennas, and the key line's got blocking diodes, so both amplifiers are keying simultaneously, and then I'm feeding the amplifiers via the radio, and it end up being about 800 watts and 700 watts. So one amp is on the loop, and the other amp is on the vertical.
Roger. So I'm just trying to think, are they all in phase? How would you check the phase angle to be sure they're all with proper phase to each other?
Oh, well, yeah, there's 2, like I said, there's a T connector, a short jumper, then a short 50 ohm jumper going into a T connector, and then that T connector is feeding 2 identical 29-foot, 3-inch, I think it is, plus or minus the velocity factor foam is 0.88, 88, whatever. But identical pieces of 75 ohm coax, and then when it gets to the amplifiers, it ends up being 50 ohms output. So they're in phase. I mean, I guess, I don't know, I'm transmitting vertical and horizontal at the same time. I could probably have just fed 2 antennas with 1 amp if you want to get right down to it.
Roger. Okay, so I got you covered now. Think about this. Think about the SDR down the road there, whichever one is your favorite SDR, at 600 miles or 200 miles or 100 miles, somewhere in there, maybe 600 miles. Fire them one at a time. Fire one up and do a quick switch to bring both of them online, and listen to your SDR back channel and see what happens, and see if the signal goes up, goes down, if you lose the top end, you're out of phase on the top end. Roger?
Yeah, well, they're both 50 ohm antennas, and the amps are 50 ohms. Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I really can't do that. I was thinking about that. And if I cut off one amplifier, half the radio's power is going nowhere, and the other half. So it's kind of hard to switch it. Once I get it balanced and both 75 ohm pieces are feeding both amplifiers and they're both tuned, to max legal. I'm doing 1500 watts, max legal. One amplifier is on 240 volts, the other one's on 120 volts. LG&E's loving me. It's making that meter out there spin like crazy.
Roger. I wonder if you could take your drive up to 100 watts and then use series resistors, identical series resistors, to feed the 2 the power amps, so you wouldn't have to make all those phase angle runs there. But let's see, so then you would want to have that. So identical resistors, the way you get, say, 50 watts divided by, or 100 watts divided by 2 through load resistors.
I could. I just playing around, Jim, and I just trying it out. In fact, I started out as one amplifier, and then a T connector out of that 1 amp, the 1500 watt, and then it was teed off in two 75 ohm coaxes at 29 feet 3 inches. It ends up being 7.2. Something like that, for a quarter wave. It's a quarter wave 75 ohm, both sides. And then a barrel connector feeding the loop, and a barrel connector feeding the vertical. So it's about the same thing, I'm guessing. And, I don't know. I've noticed the QSB is a lot lower. If it's a lot of QSB on that day, you can flip from vertical to horizontal. The guy will be stronger on the vertical, and bam, and then he goes down, and then he comes up on the horizontal side, back and forth and back and forth. So I thought, let me just feed both of them, and to me, it feels like, and it's kind of non-scientific, but it feels like the QSB is a lot lower instead of going from a 5 to a 9, and 5 to a 9, back and forth, vertical, horizontal. It's more like 8 to 9, 8 to 9. It feels like that. That was on one station I was listening to.
Oh, Roger that. Well, I'll tell you what, man. What I would do would be sure. They have Gorilla Tape in white. You can get Gorilla Tape in white now, and I sure would ID all those coaxes with just take a piece of Gorilla Tape and just run it around one time and smash it all down and cut it off, and you've got a nice little tag there for what that antenna is, because sometimes when you get a bunch of coax up there, it's sometimes you think you got it under control, but sometimes you may not. So, but a little ID on the coaxes will just nice little insurance policy.
Oh yeah, absolutely. This is KK4CZ talking with KC9VKV, and I'm kind of holding you up from fixing people's audios and all that. I haven't heard you in a long time, dude, and just wanted to say hey to you. But Jim, I do that. I've learned that lesson the hard way. Oh man, golly, it's almost impossible to recover. What's this coax do? Oh my gosh, what does it do? You put meters on it and all that. I guess it's 70 centimeters, and then that's 2 meters also. Oh man, yeah, I've learned that lesson the hard way, Roger.
Roger, and particularly when you have two radios involved. If there's only one radio and you're standing beside it putting the coax in, hopefully everything's copacetic there, but when you have two radios, that's almost double trouble, Roger.
Oh my gosh, yes, sir. I've been there, done that over and over. Seems like I've pretty much learned by now, I've been a ham all my life. I just recently got licensed back in the 80s. But, okay, Jim, hey, gather up some people there. I'm going to go upstairs and get something to drink. What time is it? 4:06, and I'm going to ooze upstairs for a minute. I'll come back if you don't have anybody to talk to, or, conditions are kind of stinky right now. They really are, huh? 40 meters. It's bad all the way up the band, all the way to 20 meters and 50. It's shot, completely shot. It was a while ago. So, all right, Jim, KC9VKV, Jim over there in Indiana somewhere. This is Brock, Obama, KK4CZ here in Louisville, Kentucky, at 9th Street and shots fired. Roger?
Roger, now, gosh, at some time, I want to talk to you about the Moody operation out there by Moby Dick and the antenna systems and just exactly what you guys were up to. I've heard all my life about you guys, and I just thought maybe we could talk about that some, Roger.
Yeah, okay, I sure will. Let me go upstairs and get something to drink. My voice is getting crackly. And plus, I've got to go to the used drink department, if you know what I mean. And I think my dog's bouncing around at the back door. So she wants to go out. So I got to do 3 things. Dog's got to go, I got to go, and I'm going to get something to drink. Roger?
Roger, keep it all under control. If you get a chance, come on back. We'll talk a little bit. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog Network. My name is Jim, Juliet India Mike. We're located down around Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River, right at Louisville. If I were to tell you New Albany, Indiana, I doubt you would know exactly where that is. But if I say, home of the Kentucky Derby, Louisville, Kentucky, having just run the Kentucky Derby first Saturday in May, you would know pretty precise where I would be. So there you go. And I guess we'll press on here. If you have a radio transmitter you want to check out, give me a shout.
Victor Echo 3, Papa, Charlie, Papa.
Well, there he is. Hello, sir. Where'd you go?
Well, there he is. Hello, sir. Where'd you go?
Just some technical difficulties, but I think I'm good now. I logged into my computer home remotely and reset the server for the remote, so hopefully it's a little bit more stable now.
Roger that. Now, how did your weekend go? Either last week or the week before, when you were working with some military folks?
Before, when you were working with some military folks?
Yeah, it went pretty well, and thanks for asking. And, we had a little bit of rain on Saturday evening and Sunday morning, but once we got through that, then it was a nice sunny day on Sunday for the last few hours of the operation, and we got loaded up shortly after lunchtime and headed home. About a 6-hour drive to get home, but, it's still a good day.
Roger that. Now, did you keep a list of contacts? Do you have any idea how many stations you worked in? And why don't you tell me about the name of that and all that stuff, Roger, where it was?
About the name of that and all that stuff, Roger, where it was?
Training exercise for the Canadian Forces military. And we were set up at the headquarters, which is at Baltimore, Ontario, east of Toronto, north of Coburg, not too far north of the shore of Lake Ontario. And there was 5 other sites in the operation with amateurs at each one of those sites. So we communicated with each other, basically passing traffic and making sure that we were able to connect with each other and doing radio checks and that sort of thing. And it's something that I did last year as well. And it's just another facet of radio, and something that we enjoyed doing. That's good.
Roger that. Well, gosh, I hope it all went well, and you impressed a bunch of people with your expertise. And I guess, did you have to string the antennas up in the trees?
And I guess, did you have to string the antennas up in the trees?
Well, I have an enclosed trailer that I tow behind my vehicle. It's a 6-by-10-foot enclosed trailer, and I have that all set up inside, to operate as an operating station with, I can have 3 different people sitting on the chairs when they're operating. So we have the EHF station set up. We have an EHF station with a couple of computer sets. And then I have a mast that I can strap up the back of the trailer, which is about 25 feet high. And I just close it there as a dipole up on that back in.
Roger. Now that's the way to do it. That's the way I always wanted to do it. I got an ambulance, an old ambulance that I was revising, and I was going to make that my radio headquarters there on the road, so to speak, but it never got quite on the road. But I keep threatening to go out there and make that my command post, Roger.
And make that my command post, Roger.
Yeah, Roger. Well, we do this quite often. This is the field day. We use it for January on the air, Lighthouse and Light Ship weekend. We do quite a few portable operations here, and we do military operations, and that sort of thing. And in October last year, we participated in a military championship, and we were set up at Guelph, Ontario. There's an forces armament there, so we were set up there with our station, and it was a 40-hour operation. My farthest contact was in Kyrgyzstan, which was actually a U.S. station, but it was 10,135 kilometers with 100 watts on a vertical antenna on the trailer.
Wow, that's outstanding. And what was the distance on that station?
Wow, that's outstanding. And what was the distance on that station?
10,135 kilometers. So it's over in the Middle East.
Roger. Now, I never could figure out kilometers. How many miles? Roughly, how many miles?
But how many miles? Roughly, how many miles?
Let me see. 10, probably about 700 miles. 700 or 800 miles, something like that. So 10,000 kilometers would be, not 700, it'd be 10,000 miles, something like that. 7 to 8,000 miles.
Wow. All right. Good going there. Good going. And I hope did you have a bunch of messages that you had to pass along to other stations?
Messages that you had to pass along to other stations?
Well, that hour was almost like a field day, so we were just, having contact and then logging them. All the stations around the world were using the same logging portal. So you log the contact with the station. It's all on notes very frequently. And so you log your contact with the station, and then they also had to log it. And both logs had to be done with like a 5-minute window to be valid. So, it's pretty set up. It's actually it's coordinated with Vibe and the Canadian military for the worldwide operation.
Roger that, bud. Roger that. Well, gosh, I'm glad it was successful, and I know that you do a bunch of work up there with different government bodies and amateur operators. Gosh, and I every once in a while I run across your blog, and it really is interesting, Roger.
Your blog, and it really is interesting, Roger.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so we haven't done a lot of live streams in the last 6 months, but we did quite a few. In December, I hosted youth operators from many different countries on my remote station, and the operator was Victor Charlie 3 Yoda, YOTA, which was clearly the month of December for on the airline. And we had young operators from 5 or 6 different countries that operators at different times, so that was kind of fun, and that sort of thing. But anyway, I'll send you an email, Jim, with some links to some photo albums and some YouTube videos and stuff like that, so you can watch and you can see a little bit more like this.
Roger. Well, let me apologize because I've been receiving you only on New York, my PA SDR. I'm waiting in a queue to get in, and I've been waiting since 50 minutes ago, so I don't know. I thought they had like an hour max, so I thought I'd be in, well in to the SDR by now, but I'm still in queue. So, and I have been using the New York SDR, so it's not anywhere near the PA SDR, in my opinion, as far as catching traffic. But it's better than nothing, because I don't have anything on my local antenna. Roger.
Because I don't have anything on my local antenna. Roger.
Oh yeah, very good. No need to apologize. No problem. I understand completely. And technology, when it works, is great, but sometimes it doesn't always work. Anyway, I'll let you carry on. It's been a good time this afternoon, and like I said, I'll send you an email with some pictures and links and that sort of stuff, and you can peruse at your leisure, and see a bit more information on that. Picking me up this afternoon, and we'll catch up again another day. 73 KC9VKV, VA3 PCP.
Roger, PCP 73 of that way. Stay warm and don't be a stranger. Check in anytime you get a chance. Love to talk at you. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. My name is Jim, and we're doing our KC9VKV Qso-Vlog net, where we help folks set up their transmitters. Today menu-driven transmitter is sometimes really difficult to get a handle on. So we try to mull together and see if we can solve the problems and get that radio sounding nice and bright and loud. So this is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Kilo 4 Whiskey Alpha Papa.
Whiskey Alpha Papa. Let me get that down here. Whiskey Alpha Papa. Come back with that call sign one more time, please.
Kilo 4 Whiskey Alpha Papa.
Roger, Whiskey Alpha Papa. What's the name?
Name is Wayne, out of northern Kentucky.
Is that Wayne, Roger?
QSL.
Roger, Wayne. And where are you located?
I am in Falmouth, Kentucky.
Alrighty, and what radio are you running today, sir?
I pulled out my old Icon 706 just to give it a whirl because I was thinking about selling it.
Roger, how old is that radio? Is that a new radio or older radio?
It's an original 706.
Okay, I tell you what, I've got two SDRs up, so why don't you tell me about your antenna system for just a minute, and let me look around and see if I can find a better path for us, Roger?
QSL.
Path for us, Roger.
QSL. 60-meter internet halfway. Internet back to the house.
Okay, I think you're best out of my Georgia SDR. It does sound best out of my Georgia SDR. If you'd be interested in a setup, usually starts with reviewing what your bandpass is, your 100 to 2900 frequency bandpass for the transmitter. 100 to 2900 is the preferred bandpass today, but the older radios may not have that good of a signal there. They may have to run a little bit more structured than the wide transmit band with TBWs of today's radio. Are you familiar with your TBW on that transmitter?
Familiar with your TBW on that transmitter?
I'm sorry, no, I'm not, but it doesn't have a bandpass filter either.
All right, so if you have an owner's manual, maybe you could consult that for how do you get to 100 to 2900 transmit bandwidth TBW. It's called wide, and it lets your transmitter run maximum efficiency and then gives you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation. Roger?
This is conversation, Roger.
QSL. I just don't think there's a setting for that on this radio.
Well, maybe not. Like an older radio may have a fixed TBW, transmit bandwidth, and there are no options. So you're stuck with that bandwidth. Probably, if that's an older radio, that's what you have at the moment. But like I say, if it's a newer radio, like the last 5 years or so, around in there, you do have options for your transmit bandwidth. And 100 to 2900 is called wide, which is the most, lets your transmitter run as best as it can, and then gives you just a slice of daylight before you're into somebody else's conversation. Roger?
Somebody else's conversation, Roger.
QSL. Normally, I sit on the back porch here with my Zygo G90 hunting perk, but I thought I'd bring this out and see how it did today.
Roger, Roger. And I'm assuming that you are running about 100 watts. Is that a Roger?
Running about 100 watts. Is that a Roger?
And what was that antenna? Give me that antenna that you're running again, please.
Antenna that you're running again, please.
It is a 160 meter antenna wave, and I'm using a 100 plus meter with this thing.
Roger, conditions kind of shifted around there, Wayne, so let me say 73 to you, sir. If you're interested in a setup, we could probably get you to take notes on that if you wanted to. Roger, Roger?
I actually have a new site for Qso-710 field. I just don't use it back here on the porch. But can I give you a call again, please?
Roger, Roger. Call here is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That's Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim. We're located around Louisville, Kentucky. We're on the Indiana side of the Ohio River right at Louisville. And this is the Qso-Vlog network where we help people with their transmitters set up and so forth. Roger?
Up and so forth. Roger.
Okay, Wayne, you have dropped now to 1 dB above my noise level, so I really can't copy you. Maybe 1 dB, maybe a half a dB above my noise level, but I can't understand what you're saying. So let me say 73 to you, sir. Maybe we can get together when the conditions are better, Roger.
When the conditions are better, Roger.
Do it now. 73. Have fun on that.
Roger, Roger, 73. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. My name is Jim, and we record till 5 o'clock, from 3:30 till 5, and then post up on YouTube. If you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, that will take you to this recording, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. It'll be cut number 1 in the series of 3400. And again, I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog net. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Yeah, it's Joe up here in Bloomington, Indiana, just up the road from you, with some pretty lousy band conditions. I just looked, and the K index and the A indices are both way out of whack, so we've must have suffered a bit of a solar disturbance. Anyway, I just wanted to say good afternoon to you, and hope you're having a nice start to the weekend, and let you know you're 5 and 8 to 5 and 9 up here in Bloomington. KC9VKV, this is Joe. K9UR, go ahead.
Roger, K9UR, this is KC9VKV, and Joe, what kind of a radio are you running today, sir?
What kind of a radio are you running today, sir?
Oh, this is an old ICOM transceiver, IC738, dating from the mid-90s. It's actually was just doing a checkout ahead of field day. This is one of the rigs that a speaker and amplifier and tuner and all that good stuff. So I thought I'd put it online today and make sure it was still operational, which it seems to be, although I just turned it on. It likes to drift around a little bit for the first 15 or so minutes till it stabilizes, but that's what I'm running here. Microphone is just a homebrewed mic using an Electret element, and There's no real adjustments for equalization or transmit bandwidth. It's pretty much set, stock crystal filters. Go ahead.
Roger, Joe. Well, gosh, you have come forth with the major improvement for that radio by going to an electret microphone, because electret microphones have so much better extensive top-end articulation than a regular dynamic microphone. So you have circumvented the need for equalization by using that electret microphone. The only other thing, I know you have a really nice top end, but I have a thing called a crisper. I don't know if you ever heard me talk about that, but it's a you know what a phono jack is? It's got a rubber sleeve, tapered rubber sleeve where the wire comes in. Well, I take that rubber sleeve and I take a razor blade and I cut it right where it starts to taper. And then I have about an inch piece of rubber with a hole in it there that just fits the electret microphone, and then gives about a half an inch of round substance right off the microphone, going into the microphone. And what this does, it rearranges the articulation level about maybe 6 or 7 dB at around 7 kc. So it just really does spice the audio up on the top end. Roger.
Spice the audio up on the top end. Roger.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so the rubber connection is going onto the front of the mic like it's a megaphone, if you will, into the microphone. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And if you have, the end that you don't cut will exactly fit over those electric microphone housings, and then stick out maybe about a half an inch or a quarter of an inch. And what that is a passive equalizer in effect. Roger?
A passive equalizer in effect. Roger.
Oh, yeah, very good. Well, there's lots of tricks. That's a good one. That's a really good one. In fact, I think I've seen maybe some microphones that have incorporated that into the case of the microphone. I think a Motorola comes to mind. But that's interesting. Okay, and do you ever experiment with some capacitance across the back of the mic element? Have you ever messed around with that in parallel to the mic element to adjust the bass or the treble? Go ahead.
No, but you have to have a load resistor, because if you're using like an ART preamp that furnishes 48 volts, you're going to have to drop that voltage down to about 8 volts, and that will be a parallel resistor across. You have two outputs from that electret microphone. One's ground and one's the high side, and so you're going to be putting about 2.2K resistor across the ground to the high side to lower the voltage on say a 48 volt phantom power supply. Roger.
Phantom power supply. Roger.
Yeah, okay, yeah, very good. Yep, that's exactly right. I'm running about 9 volts, 8 to 9 volts, whatever the battery that that I latched up. I guess it was a 9-volt battery, one of those lithium batteries. It's going on 3 years. It just never runs out. It's got a make or break contact with the microphone PCT, so it doesn't keep the element powered when it's not in transmit mode. Anyway, okay, very good. So the crisper, that's a neat idea. And of course, a lot of radios are using the electric elements now. And that's exactly why I chose it, because it's very, very broad, flat response from 20 to 20,000 cycles. And okay, on the resistance and the phantom voltage, yeah, I think we're on the same page. Anyway, I like the homebrew microphones. I've homebrewed several of them. Stick them in different chassis. Probably the most popular chassis would be something like an static, the D104. But I've done it with lots of different microphones, and it's quite easy. It seems to work real well. You can buy those electric elements for, I think you get 10 of them for $1. So they're not expensive. Go ahead.
Oh, that's for Roger, but considering what it would cost you to build other microphones other ways, it's just phenomenally inexpensive, Roger. For like $2, you got a $200 microphone, Roger.
A $200 microphone, Roger.
Yeah. They're made for ICOM, and 99% of it is packaging material. And then you've got that little 10-cent electric condenser right there on the end, sticking out in the wind, ready to capture audio. Well, anyway, very good. Well, you sound good up here. I know the band is kind of punky, but I was on this frequency when I went to the other station with the ICOM, I forget what it was, 706. That goes back about 30 years, that rig. I had one of those back in 1995, so that's 30 years ago. But anyway, very good. Well, I won't hold it. I'll let you work some more stations. I know there's probably guys on here that have controls they can adjust. I'm limited to to me, myself, and I are, like you said, home brewing, and that's a neat idea on the CRISPR. I'll look through my junk bin and see if I can find some of those phono plug, I guess you call them insulators, or what, the outside shell of the phono plug. That's a neat idea. I'll have to give that a try, Jim. Anyway, back to you. KC9VKV, this is K9UR.
Okay, Roger, what's the name there again?
Yeah, Roger, what's the name there again?
Yeah, I'm Joe. Juliet Oscar Echo.
Okay, Joe, maybe you might be just faintly over mod on your ALC. Let's go to your ALC real quick. And as you say the word audio, spoken just as you would speak any other word, don't stress it, just say it. And then with the mic gain in hand, adjust your mic gain for 7 or 2/3, whichever comes first on your ALC meter. Roger?
ALC meter, Roger.
Yeah, okay, very good. Yep, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It looks like that's better. Yeah, I was probably, I was talking into the mic instead of across, which I normally talk across it. But for whatever reason, the way I was holding it was not good, and so it was probably putting a lot of breath into it. I've got a homebrew, like a little pop filter I made, and that helps as well. Go ahead.
Oh, Roger, yeah, but they're like $3, $4, and a real one just does an amazing job of taking out all the stuff that you don't want to transmit, and then you can adjust your electret microphone any way you want, because the idea behind the foam windscreen is, they try to put it inside the grill, and that just doesn't work. A foam windscreen has to fit over the whole microphone assembly in that front area. That gives it a chance to move those wind currents before it even gets to the grill of the microphone. Roger?
Of the microphone, Roger.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense, because then you don't get the harmonic vibration of the grill when the wind leaves the grill. Yeah, that's good. I use a couple of, dare I say, you laugh, but I use a couple of old gym socks and cut them off, kind of halfway down, and they fit right over the microphone head, and it works great. It's not foam, it's cotton, but it seems to work pretty well.
Roger, Joe. Yeah, there's nothing that works like a real foam windscreen, though, I'll tell you that. I mean, I've got probably 10 of them or 15 of them just waiting in the wings if this one ever croaks. This one's been going for about 10 years. Starting to smell a little bit, but it works real well.
Oh, very good, Jim. Hey, tell me, what are you running now for equipment? I remember you used to run an FT990, and I think you've upgraded equipment. Give me your rundown there with microphone, antennas, and all that good stuff.
All right, this is a homebrew electret microphone, again being terminated by a 2.2 ohm resistor, 2.2K, feeding an ART preamp, which is, that furnishes 48 volts phantom power. So you got to bring that voltage down to make those electret microphones work real well. So I use 2.2 K ohm, and I'm not really sure, but it works really well. It knocks the voltage down to where they work really well. Then an output of the ART preamp into a third octave equalizer. Then there's a split, and one split goes to the radio and the other split goes to the video audio mixer. And so that, does both duty for both the radio, and the radios are 7300, and so it gets the third octave equalizer output, as does the audio mixer for video. Roger.
The audio mixer for video. Roger.
Okay, and you're running about 2.8, 2.9 bandwidth?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I want to do is be sure everything is copacetic. Now, if you're familiar with the ALC operation, that is actually a limiter, a function on the automatic level control, as opposed to the compressor. Compressor operates very slow attack and very slow release, whereas your ALC limiter works very, very fast and like that. So when you force that, or just run like 7 or 2/3, it's already starting to limit, and that's the neat part about that, because you just kind of wind up compressing that upper end pretty hard, and a nice sibilance is right there as you continue to force at about 7 or 2/3. Roger.
7 or 2/3. Roger.
Yeah, we doubled. I'm sorry.
Long double.
Yeah, we doubled. I'm sorry about that.
Roger. I was just talking about the ALC circuit. When you run that at about 7 or 2/3, you're going to get a 3 dB dynamic range, which means that without the ALC circuit working in there like that, you're going to be equivalent to a non-processed signal. And if you don't have your compressor on, and you're going to have about a 10 dB dynamic range, which is nice for a PA system or audio system, but it needs to be fatter for radio. So we want to continue to open the microphone level to where we have a 7 or 2/3 on our ALC meter, and that will give us a 3 dB dynamic range, and that will give us 80 to 85% of peak modulation, so you're loud, but you're not distorted at all. Roger?
But you're not distorted at all. Roger?
Oh, yeah, okay, very good. Yeah, so about 3 dB of dynamic range versus 10. Okay, very good. Jotting that down here. Well, listen, Jim, I'm going to have to run here. I got a phone call I have to return, but it's good to hear you on, and I was just saying that it's a bit different than the old days with Charlie DZL sharing his recordings of airplanes and all that fun stuff. That goes back a few years. So anyway, I'll bid you farewell, and have a nice weekend, and thanks again for being out here helping all the hams get their equipment squared away. It's always appreciated. KC9VKV, this is K9UR. I'll listen out, Jim. Go ahead.
Roger, Joe. Good to talk to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by. And if you want to hear your audio, I finally got my... I've been sitting in queue on my Kentucky SDR, which is up around Cincinnati, and it's better than most things as far as SDR is concerned. So I've been sitting in queue for the last hour or 45 minutes to get in. I finally got in, so I got a really good copy on you on my local, my Kentucky SDR over on the Cincinnati side. I'm sorry. It's on the Kentucky side at Cincinnati. Get all that worked out. And so I didn't have a good copy on you. So if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, followed by the word logbook, will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3400, and I'll have it uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Uploaded by noon tomorrow. Roger?
Yep, okay, very good, Jim. I'll take a listen and see what this old beast of a radio, the field day special, sounds like. Hopefully it'll work for us. Anyway, have a nice evening. 7-3. Good weekend. We'll catch you again. KC9VKV. This is K9UR. Back to you.
Roger, Roger. And what you have now with that electret microphone works really well. So, but you might experiment with that, Christopher, and see what you think. I like it. I'm running one on this mic, so maybe if you want to experiment, that's what it's all about. 73 there, Joe. Catch chillier, sir. This is the Friday afternoon Qso-Vlog network. If you have a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Oh, you want to check out? Give me a shout.
All right, so we're going to go around one more time or so, unless Brock's around, and we can talk about the sun shooter or the moon shooter, or whichever one that was. Brock, you still out there?
When that was, Brock, you still out there?
Let me turn off this SDR so I don't echo. There we go. Yeah, this Brock, KK4CZ Louisville.
All right, now, here it comes. I've been past that Moby Dick out there. I don't know exactly where it is, but I've been past it. And every once in a while, I've seen this giant antenna, long son of a gun, a lot of radios. Now, just tell me what was going on out there.
Now, if you're talking about, Jim, this is Brock, KK4CZ with KC9VKV. And I'm in Louisville, Kentucky, transmitting 2 antennas, 2 amplifiers, 1 radio. Anyway, are you talking about it 3rd and Winkler, Jim?
Yes, sir. Right beside that Moby Dick there.
Yeah, that's where we had all the experimental CB radio and amateur radio, transceivers, transmitters, and at one time we were putting out, believe it or not, and I've got pictures and proof, and it's like we put out almost 30 to 35,000 watts of AM power, and on 27.255 megahertz, and on AM, and we had to make our own antennas, and we used 1 5/8 inch coaxial cable with connectors and all that. And Moby Dick 3rd Winkler had 4 fryers. So he had 4 480 volt, 3-phase, 60 amp. I'll say it again. 480, 3-phase, 60 amps each circuit breakers. So there was 4 60 amp 3-phase circuit breakers in the wrist drop, and this amplifier run on 480, 120 amps, 3-phase. So we put 2 phases to the circuit breakers together, and then run an extension cord into the commissary right next door to the restaurant there, where you see the antennas on top of it, and we would run that amplifier. It run just about 100 amps. Do the math. 100 amps, 480 volts. 100 amps, 480 volts, 3-phase. And the only time we could run that was when the restaurant was closed, because we had to use 2 of the fryer power supplies coming out of the 3 transformers over there by Walgreens. So yeah, that's basically what it was, and a lot of it is satellite work. A lot of Oscar 10, Oscar 13 satellite work. Go ahead.
Roger, did you ever have any customers coming out of that Moby Dick kind of glowing, it was, as it were?
Yeah, we preheated the fish with RF energy. Oh my gosh. You know what? That amplifier was one of 9 amplifiers made for the Saudi Arabian government for their point-to-point communications back then, as before the internet, satellites, and all that. And so they had point-to-point communications, and like on a blackout day today. Today's blacked out, right? They'd had 0 problems on 40 meters or any frequency. It was from 0.5 megahertz continuous coverage to 30 megahertz. The amplifiers were continuous coverage from half a megahertz, the AM broadcast band, to 30 megahertz. A roller inductor, a huge roller inductor. That was a lot of fun.
Roger. Now, was the central thrust of the operation out there to moon bounce, or what was that?
Oh, yeah, we did some moon bounce, Jim, and we also did satellites, Oscar 10, Oscar 13, and some of the lower flying birds there. If you remember W4MOP, oh gosh, what's his, God darn, what was W4MOP's name?
Gosh, got me.
Somebody keyed up and said something. What? I didn't get somebody keyed up. Anyway, so yeah, we did that. That's what we did from there. They had satellite antennas on as-L rotors and all that.
Roger. Now, clue me in here. You were pulse modulating probably that moonshot going out. Were you pulse listening in the blank pulses coming back?
No, that was sideband. Now we had sideband. We was doing upper sideband, and we were following the coattails of G4JUJ. He had a huge satellite or moon bounce system, G4JUJ. I believe that's the right one. It's somewhere in Ruislip, England, and I believe that's right. I might be wrong on that, but it's some dude in England, and we would follow the. We didn't have that much. We only had 1,500 watts uplink power, 70 centimeters, which ended up being about 40,000 watts ERP uplink. But he had 500,000 watts uplink, and we were riding his coattails. You know, we couldn't do it by ourselves. We were riding his coattails, and we also talked to the one of the shuttles.
Roger. So you were on 70 centimeters, is that it, Roger?
Yes, sir. 3 bags full, 435, I believe it was, Jim, and had 1,500 watt Henry, which we did about 2,000 watts, right? And it had two 40 CXs, which was 80 elements uplink and 80 elements downlink. So it was simplex. Uplink, downlink, and that's where we got our moon bounce. There's only about 5 stations we could talk to on the moon, because there's only 5 stations that actually could do that, and we really couldn't do that. The big boys, the 5 big boys, would bounce up there with us, you know, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Got some QSL cards and all that, and me and Glenn did that a whole lot over there. KK4CZ, Louisville, Kentucky.
KC9VKV, Qso-Vlog net for Friday afternoon. Most interesting there, Brock. Did you ever hear any signals coming back that you didn't know where they were coming from, like maybe originating on moon?
Yeah. You know, I tell you what, when the moon was at apogee all the way out, not perigees all the way in, apogees all the way out. It's over 250,000 miles out. We would revert to CW, because that's the only way you could hear, sideband. And the noise level. It depends on if it was high elevation or low. If it was low elevation, we'd pick up a lot of terrestrial noise. So we always shot for the higher elevation and perigee as close as we could get, about 200,000 miles out. And so it was a lot. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That's let's see, W4MOP. He had the 9.4. Who was that?
Didn't copy anybody, but let's see. What is that called when you leave a vapor trail? Not a vapor trail, but an excited RF signal along the way. Oh gosh, what is that?
Now the great big amplifier, we had St. Elmo's fire problems. We couldn't use an antenna that had an end effect, like a half-wave dipole or anything like that. It had to be a closed loop antenna and very smooth corners, very, very smooth, so they wouldn't shoot fire out of the end. St. Elmo's fire. we have a lot of problems with that. We burn up antennas and coax connectors, and burn up circuit breakers, and oh man, it's a mess.
Roger. What's the other name for St. Elmo's fire? The lights up in Canada sometimes do that.
Oh, you're talking about the Aurora, what is that, Northern Lights?
The Aurora, yeah. What was that government station that everybody thought was off the air, but they're still on the air? And I forget what it is, but they're generating something like, 500,000 watts. And they, after a while, they turned it off, and the Aurora in the line that they were transmitting stays lit, even though the transmitter's off.
Oh, yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. Yep. But we had some really strange. We had a lot of dead birds on the top of the roof. Lots of dead birds, and they just would fly too close. We'd transmit and just fry them right there in the air, and it's pretty bad. I'll tell you, I don't know, and I don't know how we never did get caught, running that kind of crazy ass power. It's unbelievable. But, do you know that Jim, that transmitter, it's a two-piece unit, power supply, hyperstill transformers on it, two-piece unit, one great, big, huge 3CX, maybe the 4CX, 3 or 4CX, 20,000 A7, tubes with handles, right? And, But do you know that amplifier is still here in Louisville, Kentucky?
Wow. Now, as a child, in my CB days, I remember going to my local RNC place, the rural electric place, and getting me a 5 or 10 kW oil-filled transformer. And this is my plate transformer for 5 572Bs. And this thing, I put the diode block inside the transformer. And I dumped the oil out because I didn't think I would ever use that much of it for my power, but as it went on, I just kept adding 572Bs, and we kept the purple haze. Matter of fact, I could trip a fuse, and I could walk out of the room by the light of the tube cherries. Roger.
Oh yeah. We had a lot of fun with that, and that thing would absolutely heat up the room no matter what. I don't care if it was dead of winter. We had to finally pipe the hot air outside because it would just boil us inside. It was terrible. It had like a furnace blower in the bottom. It was real noisy, but what Glenn and I did, like I said, they made 9 for the Saudi Arabian government. And the first one was a prototype, and that's the one we got. We got the prototype, and it had holes drilled in it and all kinds. It's kind of ratty looking. And but the other 8 got sold. They were made right here in Louisville, Kentucky, all 9 of them. And they actually sold 8 of them after the prototype. And then me and Glenn found the prototype, and we bought it for almost nothing. I mean, like $1,000, like $1,000 or something, and had it hauled over to the restaurant and the commissary downstairs. This is all downstairs, inside the commissary down there. But those are fun times, man. Had a lot of fun. Oh, we got the WAT award, Whiskey Alpha Tango award. You know what that award is?
Work all states simultaneously.
No, worked all TVs.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And we was on AM. Right? And of course, everybody could hear us through their stereo speakers, and our audio was coming through perfectly for miles around. And here comes a little old lady. I mean, she was 170 years old. She banged on Glenn's basement door. On the door over there, right next to Moby Dick at Third Winkler, and she bang, 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 and she'd yell out the window, Glenn, and Glenn come out. And the short story is you're getting into my floor furnace, Glenn. I hear you in my floor furnace. He said, no way, you're drunk again, Mabel, or whatever her name was. And she's pestering us all around. You're getting into my floor furnace, Glenn. Stop it. He said, Brock, would you go over to Mabel's house and see if I'm getting into the floor furnace? Daggone, if he wasn't being, you could hear it real tinny sounding. And you could hear his voice, Brock, am I getting into the floor furnace? Yeah, you are, Glenn. I called him back up on the phone. Yeah, you want to hear it? He said, damn, I'm getting into the floor furnace.
Roger. When I was working with HAS, WHAS, and their 50,000 watt, they had two 50,000 watt transmitters, sometimes three, but they were always joking about they had two power sources available. If one went down, they could go to another power source. And these, they're transmitting 50,000 watts, so they're probably consuming 100,000 watts easy, this AM. And they were saying, well, we are now coming out of hair dryers and toaster ovens.
I know it. And you're saying that as a joke, but that's the truth. I'm telling you. Glenn and I, it's okay, Mabel, we'll fix you up next day. And I went over there and I crawled under her, floor area as a crawl space, and it used to be, the floor furnace used to be an old oil fired. It used to be oil fired. Now it was gas fired. It got converted over to natural gas. So at one time, that floor furnace was oil fired. Guess what? It made carbon, and there was carbon between the plates, metal plates in the floor furnace. And I had to take that floor furnace all apart and clean all the carbon out of it, so she wouldn't hear him at 3 o'clock in the morning talking on CB radio at 30,000 watts out.
Roger. Now, I guess that the metal in the stuff that went from room to room was actually channeling the RF, Roger?
Yeah, it's detecting the RF. It was kind of like an old carbon microphone, I guess, or something. It was diode is dioding. Somehow it was dioding the if it was on sideband or FM, it probably wouldn't have bothered her, just have been muffled or something. But I heard somebody else break in there. Or somebody else. Go ahead. I'm standing down.
Kilo 4 Juliet Tango Alpha. Hey, bro. No, I was just sitting here. I was enjoying listening. Just wanted to let you know I was in there.
Oh, okay, Jeff Bodine, the Monster Bodine there. Hey, Jim, KC9VKV. That's Jeff. He's over there in Smithfield, Smithville, Smithsonian. That's Jeff. Go ahead, Jeff.
Hello, Jim. Yeah, my name is
Jeff.
Foxtrot, and I'm located in the county of Henry County, little town called Smithfield, and I'm roughly about 30 miles northeast of Louisville. I'm about 30 miles northeast of Mr. Brockwell.
Roger, Jeff. I've got a really good copy on my local antenna. You look to be maybe 10, 15 over. Roger.
Yeah, both you guys sound really good to me. You're both pushing 15, 20 over on your peak, and but I'm just running a Icom 7610, just 100 watts in the wire.
It sounded mighty good. Let me see. Let me go up towards Cincinnati and see if I got a copy. You come back and talk to me for just a minute.
All right.
Just a minute.
All right, I'll give you a little bit of RF in the air. This is Kilo 4 Juliet Kentucky, over.
Roger. Got a good copy on my my Kentucky SDR. It's up around Cincinnati, just on the Kentucky side of the Ohio River, right at Cincinnati. Sound good there? Sound great on my local antenna too, sir. So thanks for checking in, Roger.
Roger that. Well, I've just been sitting in here the last 10, 15 minutes. I just finished work, and
I was tuning around. I like to listen more than I talk. But I heard you guys, and I recognized Mr. KK4 CZ, the cold zipper. That's in the wintertime. Now in the summertime, he's just crazy zipper, Roger.
Oh, Roger. Yeah, well, you know, the rule is you can't work on antennas in the summertime. You have to wait till it's 40 degrees below zero to do any kind of outside antenna work, Roger.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? That wouldn't be a challenge any other way, right?
Oh, Roger. See, you make much faster decisions when you're freezing to death.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, I'm going to back out, but thanks for letting me say hello. I just heard Brock. I was tuning around. I thought, well, there's Brock. And I like to aggravate him every time I hear him on the airwaves. So, Jim, good to hear from you. Hope you and your family have a great weekend ahead. And thanks for letting me say hello to you. Brock, we'll catch you on the local airwaves there. K4JTA, 73, guys.
Roger, Jeff. 73, sir. Sounded really good. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate it. And back to you, Brock. Final word.
Sure, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Jeff, JTA, just Tango Alpha, wherever it is, anyway. Yeah, me and Jim go way back. He's used to be a broadcast engineer. He is still a broadcast engineer. He gets on 88 here and helps some of the boys out with their audio and all that, gets them cleaned up, gets the muddiness out of them and all that. But yeah, he that's what he likes to do on Fridays. He does that Fridays for about 90 minutes or a couple hours. So it's and I'll just kind of help him out. He has about 15 SDRs around him all over the United States that he tries to listen to everybody. But the conditions right now really suck. Put it bluntly, it's almost a radio blackout. But all right, Jeff Bodine, the Monster Machine. We'll see you later on there, little buddy. K4JTA, KK4CZ, Lousyville, Kentucky, 9th Street, shots fired.
All right, Brock, good to talk to you, man. Really enjoyed it, and don't be such a stranger. Drop by anytime. We'll hash and rehash, and you are a living legend in this area. You survived the days of high power, 50,000 watts shooting the moon, whatever. Just surviving that physically. Coming out of that is nice. I mean, it's all kinds of opportunities for disaster lurked during those times. It just took one arc, and I'm trying to think about it. Obviously at the end of the antennas, you're at the particularly like a dipole. You're at the apex of the voltage curve. So the arcs would occur at the tips of elements, like particularly running high power on a 440 antenna is really something else, and sometimes I guess you could get an arc going there that would go actually from element to element. If you ran enough power, you're going to, the arc, at a KW, there's about an inch or 2 inch arc on a dipole antenna at the tips. Anyway, it's enough to. I had a piece of TV transmission line that I was using for 80 meters, and part of it ran over a lower limb. And when I did inspect it finally after a couple of years, it had burnt through the insulation into the tree on that antenna. So I know there's a lot of circulating voltage out there in the tips of dipole antennas. So I put a hose sleeve over through this transmission line antenna, and to just insulate it off the limb, and it seemed to work. I didn't see anything else burning up there, but there are a lot of circulating volts at the end of a dipole antenna, and everybody must remember that if they happen to be in the neighborhood with a KW amount of power. All right, so let me get out of here. 73 Brock, catch you later, sir. Good to talk at you. This is Jim, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, and we got to return this frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Hey, Brock, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Roger. I just had some trouble with my preamp, and I just got it back in line, and hadn't really had a chance to set it up. Does it sound all right?
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. There's some other interfering RIDI coming in there. I don't know where that's coming from.
Oh, it's hard to tell. QRMers are everywhere. You just never know who the QRMer is. The one that you would least expect becomes the offending station. Anyway, let me say 73, Brock. Catch you later, buddy.
All right there, Jim. VKV, Jim. Yeah, well, if they make me mad, I'll turn on my amplifier. My big one. Anyway, so, I've set trees on fire and everything. You got to run a closed loop. If you're running a whole lot of power, you got to run a closed loop. You can't run a dipole. You can't run a beam with a standard dipole and a gamma match and all that, or even a T-match. You have to use a loop, a loop type antenna every time. You start going 2,000-3,000 watts. Well, I mean 1,500 watts. You gotta use a loop tag. All right, hey, catch you later, and it's good. Good talking to you there, Jim. My main radio broadcasting type station, WHAS broadcaster. You're a hoot. I love you, man. All right, catch you later. And don't worry about them QRMers. I'll just put the pedal to the metal, and you won't hear a thing. We'll see you later. It's Brock, not Obama. KK4CZ, Louisville, Kentucky. 9th Street. Shots fired.
Roger, Brock. I was just thinking on the... I've got three 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, and I was just amazed. The circulating voltage at the end of a magnetic loop is even more than anything. I mean, it's you got to use 2-inch spacings on your tuning capacitor to keep from marking on those, and that's pretty strong, Roger.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, you can see some of those small loops. I'm talking about a full-size, full-wave loop, but that's what I use. To keep the arcing and sparking down. I've got pictures of Debbie. Well, Debbie would be operating the station, and I was watching my SWR. I was on 160 one day with an inverted L. Okay, that's quarter wave. Well, you know what the end of a quarter wave voltage is like. It's super high at 1,500 watts, especially on 160. And the SWR is going up and up and up and up. And I said, what is this creeping up? And everybody says they hear some crackling in my audio. I said, well, Debbie, I went off channel. I said, I'm going to go outside. It's dark outside. I went outside, and I got a picture of on the end of my inverted L, quarter wave inverted L. I got like 3,000 feet of radials in the ground right now, even. And there's a and I've got a picture of it. Of it doing a movie actually, and it was sizzling. It was St. Elmo's fire, about 4 or 5 inches long, and it's blue and red and sizzling. And she was, off frequency saying audio, and you could hear her in the sideband mode. You could hear her in the fire. I swear, I've got it on video. You could hear her. It's nasally sideband, but you could hear her in the fire.
Oh yeah, Roger. Well, I recall in my younger days before I was in the 50 kW range, I was at KW's, and we once had a fire at one of our stations, and they had to move the production to below the tower. So I had this was just a KW station, and I could hear the plate modulating on the syllabics. You just kind of stuff. You couldn't hear the low frequencies, but you could hear the high frequencies, Roger.
Yeah, as a closing note, I had a high-power mobile CB radio, right? Probably about 1,1800 watts, something like that, a 10 pill, or however you call them. And I had some kind of a fiberglass antenna. Well, that fiberglass antenna, I touched the tip of it, and it started arcing, and I started talking, and as this thing was arcing, it was carboning up on the tip. It was the fiberglass was getting black and burnt, and I could yell into the AM microphone as the AM radio, and you could hear my voice perfectly, hear my voice coming out of that fire. It just works like that. It's just the way that stuff works.
Roger. Yeah, I was thinking the other night, I was reading up on Marconi and Tesla and who did what, why, and we always work on somebody else's back. That is, there are folks that come before us that accomplish certain things, and we pick up the charge from them and carry forth and do other things. And I was just thinking what it would be like that Marconi was out near the ocean there up in Newfoundland or around through there, and his station over in England was sending out Morse code. They were sending out the S dot, and over and over and over in a series of S's, and that he would copy that. And I was wondering, like today, if somebody were to take a spark gap transmitter and hook it to a 40-meter tuned antenna, and them folks didn't have much ability to be able to put it on various frequencies. It was kind of crude, and I would think that the last thing that would determine its radiation pattern would be the antenna tuning would maximize the signal. And so if you had a spark gap transmitter and I was listening on this frequency and you were on a 40-meter antenna, I wonder if I could hear that spark gap transmitter.
Oh, I guarantee it. Yeah, we've played with that when I was a kid. I went to I did that in physics in grade school. Yes, sir, sure did. Yeah, we made a spark gap transmitter in grade school in Kansas. And we got clear across the room. It was actually popping the gap. The receiver was a gap, and it was probably, 1/16 of an inch, maybe even less. And it was popping that gap just across the room. And I don't know what kind of antenna. It's super, super wide banded. It is. It's it's all up and down the band. Of course, the conditions got to exist. F1, F2 layer, E layer, all that, to get across the big waters and all that. So they were just absolutely inundating the frequencies from DC to light, and then whatever skip was going to roll, they would have hit it because it was wide-banded, super, super wide-banded. Man, you talk about a noise generator. Oh, brother. KK4CZ.
Roger, KC9VKV. I once had a science teacher said, spark gap transmitters just for code. They never could send voice, just code. And I said, well, let me see about that. And I had a 50-watt Duquesne PA amplifier that I hooked to a spark coil, and then I took the spark coil, the spark device, the gap, and just adjusted the gap very, very close. And gosh, you could send music or anything. It was kind of distorted when it ended, but as long as it was going, man, you were sending voice and music.
Yeah, it's real tinny, and yeah, as you say, distorted. And it's just, if not, the music was highly distorted, but the voice, you could make the person's voice out. So it was definitely voice communication, just like the first carbon microphone type thing. So yeah, it was interesting stuff. All right, VKV, I'm going to get out of here Debbie's looking at me like, what are we going to do for dinner, look? And I'm going to see what she's wanting there. And, hey, Jim, it's been good, man. I love you, man. It's a lot of fun. I love amateur two-way radio, and it's just what I do. To me, HF is the core of amateur radio. Yeah, VHF is cool and all that, repeaters and satellites and and all that, and digital, whatever. And that's, amateur radio. One big, long experiment. That's all it is. We'll see you later. KK4CZ.
Roger, Brock 73, sir. Thanks for dropping by. Appreciate that. And, we got to get out of here and return our frequency back to normal amateur radio use. This is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, clear.
Victor, clear.
Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Charlie Victor, kilowatt, Echo 0, Yankee Whiskey, kilowatt, Echo 0, Yankee Whiskey.
Whiskey Station, this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, Roger.
Station, this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, Roger.
Is there a WW station calling KC9VKV?
Is there a WW station calling KC9VKV?
Roger, this is kilowatt, Echo 0, Yankee Whiskey, KE0YW.
Got you, YW. Roger. What's the name there?
Got you, YW. Roger. What's the name there?
Hello, YW. What's the name there?
Hello, YW. What's the name there?
The name is Jerry. Juliet, Echo Romeo, Yankee. I'm putting up a brand new transceiver. It's a UTFTDX10. Hooked up yet. Been working like this for a while. So hard copy. Brand new radio. Kilowatt Echo 0. Yankee Whiskey.
Yankee Whiskey, I got a pretty good copy on you, but I'm kind of out of time today. So if you would like a little help there, maybe next Friday I could spend a lot of time with you there and set up that transmitter and get you percolating real well. Roger.
You percolating real well. Roger.
Roger, I don't know what power I'm running. It's full power right now, 100 watts. And I still haven't read the book. There's a lot to it. This is KE0YW.
Roger, YW. I have a bunch of SDRs across the country that I'm sure I could get a better copy on you, but most of them are down, and it's too late to start them up. So maybe if you would, I start usually about 3:30 on Friday afternoons on 7188. So maybe if you got in a little bit earlier, we could, and we had some good conditions. Maybe we could work on that radio just a little bit and get it to percolating just perfect. Roger.
Radio just a little bit and get it to percolating just perfect. Roger.
Roger. I wish I had a better copy on you, but maybe next Friday we can do it. Right now, I do have to get out of here, Jerry, so let me say 73 to you, sir. Thanks for dropping by. I do have you recorded. I do not have a good signal on you, but I do have some of you recorded. If you want to hear it, if you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor followed by the word logbook. That's KC9VKV followed by the word logbook. Will take you to this recording. It'll be cut number 1 in a series of 3400, and I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
And I'll have it uploaded to YouTube by noon tomorrow. Roger?
73 YW. This is KC9VKV, returning the frequency back to normal amateur radio use. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, clear.
Back to normal amateur radio use. Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, clear.